Hello, greetings everyone. It is October 16th, Sunday. Today's Sunday, right? Yes, October 16th, 6 p.m. Beginner Mode. This is the first ever episode of Beginner Mode, and thank you very much everyone for joining me. Hello, everyone. Hello. I don't know which way I'm waving. All right, it's this way. All right, so my overlays are in the bottom right corner of this. So yeah, we're just pretty much just gonna. Episode 0 is going to be a pretty mellow episode. Actually, like if you actually want to get good at BB, you can kind of like skip this one because it's so low level that it's almost an insult to your intelligence. All right, so we're just going to start off with what is beginner mode. Beginner mode is a show where we attempt to raise the level of BB overall. The thing is that like I would say that BB is not like the super low level game of the United States, but it is kind of like we could definitely be doing better. And the goal of beginner mode is pretty much to like raise that level of BB, get people to like who are like at level like -1 to maybe 0, and maybe like pick up BB and try it. And after that is like I guess like a beef up BB is like a smart game. That may be a tough one, but that's definitely one of my goals. Yeah, so how do we intend to accomplish this on beginner mode? Well, basically, my goal is to start from like straight up 0, like 0, 0. Like you don't even you've never even played a fighting game, you've never even played BlazBlue in your entire life, and that's my starting point. And it's kind of a radical approach because like a lot of times we tend to like brush off a lot of our casual players, and we're just like, oh, learn a combo first, or at least like learn how to do anything kind of thing, but. Beginner mode's just definitely gonna try to sidestep that. We're gonna like invite everyone. When we start from absolutely 0, like everyone can like, I guess watch like episodes 1 through like 60 million, and then they might actually like learn how to play this game without even touching it. So maybe that's our goal. Maybe that's the ultimate goal of beginner mode, is to get everyone to try the game out, get a lot better at it. So the show's format is going to be done kind of like this every time. I know, like we are in my room. It's not exactly clean. Actually, I was kind of in the middle of remodeling my room, and for the show. And then as soon as I realized, I was like, oh wait, I wonder what time it is. It was like already like 5:45. Oh shit, I have to get started. And then so my room is in its like half clean state right now. I'm gonna probably put like a big BB poster here eventually, and like a big like I don't know, Sad Life anime one, Hatsune Miku. I don't know. And then the TV. Shit, it's over here. Like at the TV, you'll probably have something on it at some point. Yeah, my camera shakes when I hit the table. I'm sorry. Where were we? Okay. So show format. It's gonna be done like this. Well, I'm pretty much gonna talk straight to the camera, and basically, like I've noticed that like when people do a lot of like tutorial kind of stuff, they just have like random stock footage. It can get really boring kind of fast, especially if they're explaining a lot of mechanics like over and over again. And to keep the cuts kind of simple, like I just will do this live every time. And still a effort of like a labor of practice kind of thing. I'll have to like practice a lot until like this kind of show a lot. But luckily, everyone's super nice, so they won't like make fun of me too much. As far as like my like reddish hue, I'm really not that embarrassed or nervous right now. It's actually like the white balance of my room. I have like really bad a really bad lighting in my room because I don't have like ceiling light, and that's like the only lamp in my room. So it causes like the white balance to be thrown off, and like it makes my face kind of red. And also like my elbows are like super red. Look at that! It's like a cartoon character. Jesus. All right. Next is, so there'll be, when we start, there'll always be like bookkeeping. It's like, hey, look at all these cool events coming up. Let's see, cool events. Drum Struction is next week. It is a BB major. If you are in NorCal or heading to NorCal randomly that weekend, it is that weekend, so please go and check it out. Drum Struction, sure to be a good event. It's also got a Catherine side tournament, so if you're into that kind of thing, maybe that's for you. After that is some other stuff. That's sample bookkeeping. Next time I'll actually look into things that are important and like let you know. So other things I'll do is I'll tell dumb stories. I'll probably tell people stuff that's happening to me in like recent events, just for laughs, just to take the level down a little bit, just to be like, keep it interesting. Is what I want to say. That's why I told you guys how stupid it was to remodel my room. Yeah. In continuation with that, then right after that, we'll mix it in with, our in-depth analysis of various mechanics. I'll other things. Oh, the other thing I have to say is that it'll actually be kind of broken up into 15-minute segments. Because I am not a director on YouTube, so I have to break up these videos into 15-minute segments if I want to upload them. So, yeah, that's the issue of today. So, like, at every 15-minute mark, I'll be like, stop, hammer time. I mean, stop, we're gonna take a quick break kind of thing. If I also was a partner on Twitch, I would also probably, like, press, like, /commercial and get, like, $4 for it or something. I don't know exactly how much money you make with 50 viewers, but oh yeah, I have 50 viewers. That's so awesome. It's like a personal best. Thank you all for joining me today. So that's exactly what's going to go down today. Yeah, like I said, we're going to start at negative like 6 or so in terms of level. So it's really, really low level, but hopefully I'll explain easy enough to everyone to keep up. And of course, today was probably a little special. If we don't run over our time limit, we're going to do like a little Q&A. If you have any like burning BB related questions, I'll answer them gladly on the stream. So that's pretty much it. So let's see. So with that out of the way, we can go ahead and start with stupid story number 2. Stupid story number 2. I actually didn't come up with one yet. So yeah, I'm sorry I got your hopes up. I actually don't have one. So that was just a bait and trap, just because I wanted to tell you a story, but I actually didn't have one. So we're just going to get right into it already. First things first is actually number notation. This is actually like the first thing you actually have to know if you want to understand everything or anything. I know that this causes a collective groan from like everyone watching because either A, you already know what it is, or B, you hate it, so you don't want to figure it out. Or 3, it's like it sounds complicated, so I don't want to know. So yeah, I'm sorry, but you have to know. If you don't know, like you can't learn anything. It's impossible. You just can't. You don't even know what I'm talking about half the time if that's the case. So camera shake later. We're going to go ahead and go right into number notation. So before I even talk about number notation, I'm just going to get into a little bit why we even use it. Because there's a lot of haters out there who, for some random reason, like they want to pick up a game or something, and they're just like, I don't want to learn the notation. And actually, you know what? I've actually been there. That's actually happened to me. Because like about a year ago, like Tekken 6 came out, and I was like, man, Tekken 6, it looks awesome. I want to learn how to play this game. And then I'm like, I'm going to go to like Tekken Zaibatsu and figure out everything and learn everything. When I buy Tekken 6, going to learn everything. So then I go to Tekken Zaibatsu, and I look at like random like normals. I just look at like character breakdown, normals, combos, and stuff. And I was just like, holy shit. I mean, crap, I wasn't supposed to curse. Holy crap, they use like numbers for buttons. Oh no, it's impossible. I don't understand numbers for buttons. That's incredibly wrong. Because I've primarily been like BlazBlue Multi-Blood player for most of my life. So like we always use numbers for directions. So for to use numbers for buttons, it's like I don't understand. So then I was just like, I can't do this. It's impossible. I'm just gonna quit Tekken right now. So then I didn't buy the game because of that. And this is exactly what I want to avoid because, quite frankly, learning a new notation just to pick up something like from the store is actually just like kind of daunting. You're just like, I don't want to do that. It's just like I have to put in work before I even like put the game in. Damn. So, that's exactly why. So that's why we're gonna go over number notation first because it's actually quite the stepping stone for a lot of players and like would-be players. It's just like they want to learn stuff, but you just can't do it yet. So this is exactly why we're starting. So why do we use number notation? Number 1, confusion. First of all, like in BlazBlue, the buttons are A, B, C, D, and S, I guess. A, B, C, D, and S. So there's a big problem where if you use letters for directions, it's like really confusing because all of the directions you use like some kind of letter that overlaps with A, B, C, or D. It's like back in Street Fighter is B. So you're just like B. B is also a button. So you just be like, how do I do this move? It's like, it's D, D, D. What is that? Do you press D 3 times? Do I press down and then D, D twice? Or do I press down 3 times? Kind of thing. So part of that is just minimizing confusion. I do understand that technically you could use like lowercase, uppercase letters, but then that's like a really easy typo to make. You can like press shift and like forget to like hold it down long enough. And then so you kind of just get like the wrong thing, completely wrong. Though technically if you make a typo in a combo or something, like it's still wrong and it won't help at all. But we're just minimizing it. This is just like, so that way we don't have to deal with it at all. So that's reason number 1, confusion. We're going to minimize confusion by using number notation. All right. Number two is for number notation is actually it's kind of like it's mostly it's like the metric system of notation actually. No matter what country you go to, if they use number notation, you're going to be able to understand what they're talking about. Oftentimes, when we play games like Street Fighter, we say things like crouching whatever, like crouching fierce, right? What button is that in Japanese, kind of thing. What if you actually literally translated that to crouching fierce in Japanese? Would you be able to understand it, kind of thing? But then if we put like 2 HP, like everyone will understand. It's like, oh, it must be the crouching like fierce punch kind of thing. So that's the main reason, and that's kind of like why we gravitate toward no notation, where we can easily like check out what other countries' peoples are doing like at all times, and which is kind of important for a game like BB where Japan gets the game like 6 months before us, and we're just all like playing catch up until then. Like being able to streamline that transition between like here and there is super important, and it's like one of the reasons why we use number notation. Also, like there's also European players. Don't ever forget about them. I don't actually know if they use number notation or not, but if they did, it would be really easy to talk about stuff. So hopefully they do, and hopefully they pick it up. I would be actually pretty sad if they didn't, but it's okay. That would like be a complete counterexample. But either way, that's what we try to do. Reason number three, like in a game like BB, there's a lot of weird. Reason number three. Let me try that again, just for impact. Okay, there we go. So reason number three is in BB there's a lot of there's a lot of different kind of inputs. There's just inputs that are beyond, like fireballs, uppercuts. There's like pretzels and like really weird stuff that are hard to explain, like based on shape. So then you're just like, Hazama's astral, just do a pretzel, and you're just like, yeah, what the hell is that? How the hell do I do that? And you're just like, well, if you could tell them the numbers they were supposed to hit, it would be really easy. So like that's all you would have to really do, and then that's one way to understand. There's also various input tricks. Like back in CS1, where there's this lychee combo where you would have to like do barrier for like a short time, so you get your stick back a little earlier. Like it's a lot easier to explain that, instead of saying like instant barrier or something like that, it's like how long, like what is that input? You would just be like, oh, it's just 1 AB kind of thing. And then by doing that, it's a lot easier to understand. And when you write out your like really long combo notations, like lychee's combos are like ultra long. So then for when you just put those input tricks in there, like directly in there, it's probably easier to pick up for most times. So that's definitely another reason. It's makes a lot of things easier. Technically, like that also exists in other fighting games, like where they have like complicated OSs and they like make those inputs. But it's just weird because they explain them without telling you the inputs sometimes, and it's just like it would be so much easier if you just told me exactly how to do it. It would like be a lot easier sometimes. But yeah, that's pretty much it with That's pretty much why we use notation. Those three reasons. I'm sure I could think of more if I like stayed up all night thinking about it, but I think that's good enough. That's pretty good reason, right? It's pretty good reasoning. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it. I'm going to explain exactly what number notation is. Forget about it. I'll just deal with it later. All right, diagrams. All right, so this is my diagram overlay. It's so nice, right? All right, so this is like, yes, number pad directions. So what does that mean? So basically, like when you play a fighting game, there's 8 directions where your buttons could be, or not your buttons could be, your stick could be, or in case you use pad, like that could also be. Technically, you can also you can't. We always figure that we don't use we're not able to hit 2 opposite directions at the same time, so or more than one direction at the same time. So we can't do like left and right at the same time. We're just going to pretend that doesn't exist, okay? Hitboxes don't exist right now. This is 1994. And, there's 8 places where your, like, buttons could be. So, with that in mind, basically, like, how do we figure this out, basically, right? So then we basically, like, what some genius apparently did was remember that, like, there's 8 places where it could be. There's also a number pad on my keyboard. I get it. This is brilliant. So then he was just like, yeah, I'm just going to figure it out like this. So then this is what a number pad looks like if you're one of those like not trendy people who like don't have a number pad on your laptop. That's exactly what it looks like, maybe. Yeah, it's the opposite of a phone, right? Yeah, it is. Okay, so 0 would be like below the 1, but we're just going to ignore that right now because there's no 0 in number notation. So, yeah. So basically, like you'll notice that there's a really easy, comfortable shape right there. This each direction sort of fits directly in with a button or a direction with a number. Yes, okay, working on it. So a direction and a number. So then basically you like fuse the two diagrams together into this like super diagram, which is exactly what it looks like. And this is pretty much exactly what it corresponds to. Those arrows, correspond exactly to those numbers, and it's really pretty simple to understand. Like like up back is 7, and up is 8, and down is 2. Yeah, and then we can go through each and every number, but I'm sure you don't want me to recite it over and over again, so we're just gonna pretend you already understood. Also, like there is one thing that I did not explain yet, and that's this 5. It's like, why is there 5 here? Well, actually, 5 is actually super helpful too, because 5 means you're not inputting a direction at all. And that's actually why it's exactly in the middle. That means you're not pressing anything. We always assume that we're using a stick when we play, because that's how kind of started in the arcade. So that's what that 5 is in the middle. It means you're not pushing any directions. That's pretty much exactly what the number pad directions really refers to. And this kind of thing is... now you'll notice you're just like, wait, this also assumes that your character is facing the right, and that you're player 1, basically. This is actually a really important distinction, because no matter, in fighting games, like, we're not at the level yet where we can even do attacks yet. Like, we're assuming we're starting at nothing, so we don't even know how to do attacks yet, but this is really important. Like, the 6, like, always refers to, like, forward if you are facing right. And if you're player 2 and facing left, forward would still be 6. I know that's actually a little bit confusing, and I actually should have been smart enough and prepared another diagram for this, but I forgot. I'm sorry. Yeah. Anyways, so my failings aside, that's exactly what number pad directions refers to. And since we haven't even played the game yet, we're just gonna pretend we're always facing right from now on. Yeah. Okay. So with that out of the way, we can go ahead and talk about the next part of number notation, which is actually buttons. Yes, you need both directions and buttons to play fighting games. And yeah, button inputs. So what exactly are we talking about? Yeah, button inputs. So like I said, like a little bit previously, crap, I already went over 15 minutes. Damn it, I suck at this whole time management thing. That's why I always fail at debates. All right, I'm just going to try again later. Anyways, so button inputs, yeah. So like I said, BlazBlue has 4 attack buttons. They are A, B, C, and D. Yeah, A, B, C, and D. If I was really baller, I probably would have made like more accurate diagrams with the proper button graphics, but I don't care enough. So you're going to just kind of have to go with that red, blue, green, and yellow, which are actually the same color, so just live with it, okay? Just cut it out. All right, so yeah, A, B, C, D. Yeah, those are the 4 attack buttons, and then obviously when we do combos, we need to push these buttons sometimes. So how do we notate them? We just keep it simple, and we just have those buttons correspond to the letters. It's pretty simple. Yeah, like so A, when you press the A button, we call that an A. When we press the B button, we call it a B. Yeah, that's pretty simple. I mean, it's like certainly sometimes in fighting games, like Street Fighter, they use like words like roundhouse fierce, and it's a little bit confusing because it doesn't really describe what button that is. So yeah, for A to be A, wow, that's so easy. Yeah, so yeah, super easy. And then yeah, like I said, because we're playing on console usually, we have this this button layout thing. You'll notice that like on any like modern controller that you would be playing this on, it is whatchamacallit, you would probably not have these buttons unless you're playing on, I don't know, some kind of fight pad with A, B, C, or D. But for the most part, we basically bind these buttons as we choose. So so you'll notice that here on this thing, this is my layout. It's my A corresponds to the X button. So then whenever I want an A, I push X. Yeah, it's pretty simple. That's pretty much exactly what we do. So we always notate combos with the previous notation, which is like this. That way, like no matter what kind of button configuration you have, it's basically the same. You can still do the combo as long as you bind your buttons correctly. It's a pretty wonderful thing, if I say so myself, and it's completely implied. Yeah, I also didn't bring up S. S is it's the taunt button. Yeah, when you press it, your character will taunt, and nothing really good can come of it. If you use it too much online, people will probably get mad at you. So I highly suggest not doing that. If you use it in single player, though, you do get 100 meter. That is nice. Or if you play Tau, you can hit someone with it. I remember when that was a real combo, and man, that was really hard to do on certain arcade cabs. But luckily, we phased those out, so we don't have to deal with that anymore. So the S button, a taunt. Yeah. Sometimes you may want to bind it in case you want to accidentally press it and do a taunt. Or you are playing someone you hate and just want to go for it. Alright. Or yeah, I guess like custom like match intros. You could do that too. Alright, so now that we know how to understand what the button inputs and what the stick inputs are, we can go ahead and like practically apply them. Wow. Practical application of this stuff already? Man, we're so high level. Yeah. Trust me, it's high level. So, this is, if you're playing a lot of characters, you'll have some kind of move like this. You'll probably see some kind of, if you've been to an arcade, you'll probably see diagrams like this, and you'll be like, yeah, I know how to do that. I just move the stick, like, quarter circle backwards and press the D button, if there's a D button. So then, if we understanding this, understanding that much, how to do the motion is probably for another time, unfortunately. But basically how we notate something like this, we just translate those directions and letters like kind of directly. So it just straight up becomes like 214D. Dead Spike is what this move does for Ragna and does some other stuff for other characters. So this what we call it 214D. We can call it other things like half circle back. Not a half circle back, it's only a quarter circle back. That's right. But yeah, 214D, it's a pretty easy way to say it. It's less syllables than quarter circle back. So, yeah, advantage. So, yeah, that's pretty much one of the main reasons we use number notation. And, yeah, that's pretty much exactly what it is. Hopefully there are not any questions on this, because they'll be hard to answer. Quite frankly, they're hard to answer. Because it's just like, well, it just corresponds directly. I don't know how much else to explain to you. I don't get it. Yeah, so that's pretty much the best I can do. Man, my hair is atrocious. So, yeah. So, I was actually hoping to conclude that a little earlier. So we could go into like part 2 or part 3, which is where we talk about me. I love me. I always talk about me. I'm the best. So that's exactly what we're talking. This is like self-introduction time now because, yeah, self-introduction. I guess it's pretty important. My name's James. You may not know me. You may not have heard of me. But I've been playing BB and fighting games for maybe like 4 years now. You lose track after a while, but I remember exactly which my very, very, very first tournament was. So I know exactly when I like started playing fighting games, trying to be serious, trying to think, I want to win. But up until then, like I was like casual. Like the first fighting game I played was like World Warrior, like everyone else. But like yeah, so me, yeah, I played fighting games for like 4 years, 4 or 5 years. 5, 6 years, I don't know, something like that. I play in a way that's kind of like I try to play smart. I like do my best to like outsmart my opponent and like use smart things to beat them. And sometimes I lose anyway, but I feel smart doing it, so I still do it. And I guess that's my style. I live in California, Southern California. I am like I don't know. I did a lot of like tournament running because I was like really into like having the big scene. And, yeah, let's all like play the game. Let's have fun. And that's pretty much what I did for a while. Yeah, when you watch this stream, you'll probably see my day-to-day appearance. I am able to grow facial hair despite being Asian. I have the like 5 o'clock shadow, even though I shaved today. That'll be great. You can see my various stages, my various stages of acne. That'll be great too. And my hair will be atrocious every day. Every day will be some kind of ugly, grotesque thing. Because frankly, like no matter what I do beforehand, unless I like shower and do my hair right before the show, which I'll never do, I'll be like coming home from work, or I'll be like sitting around all day until like I do the show. So basically, my hair is always guaranteed to be shit. Yeah, I'm also try not to curse. Like when I put it on YouTube, I'm gonna have to like edit it out. It's gonna be like Dead Spike or something like that. So look forward to that. And I don't look forward to it because it's gonna be a lot of work. That kind of sucks. So yeah, when the day that I stop cursing will be a pretty good one for me. I'll probably enjoy it a lot more. Then I could just like push like the button and be like upload and it'll be perfect. Oh yeah, I'm not a director either, so I have to cut these things up into 15-minute segments. Well, anyway, yeah. So something else about me. I play Platinum in BlazBlue CS2. Part of the reason is like I learned the character just to be like, hey, that character looks cool, has a Miku color, that's pretty cool. Started playing the character. Oh, this character has items too, that's cool. I love Faust. I played Faust in Guilty Gear, and I was like, oh, and then I was like, all right, time to go back to Lambda, and then I was like, oh wait, Revelations is tomorrow, and then I was like, shit, I need to like practice, and I need I guess I can't play Lambda at Revelations. I'm gonna have to play Platinum. So then it kind of like snowballed into like me always playing the character. If you know me from the CS1 days, I'm kind of known as like a specialist. I like play a lot of characters to like a relatively not horrible level, which is I put that in quotes, like not horrible, which is like usually my goal. Like it's like a lot of times that I played the game, I was always in training mode. So then like I would master what I thought was the character, and then be like, cool, I know how to do all these characters' combos. I'm so good now, so I'm gonna like pick a different character, learn all their combos and stuff, and then I would watch a lot of match videos and try to apply the stuff and be like, wow, I could play this character, that's great. And the other thing is like I couldn't win a lot when I was in CS1. I was still kind of like a fledgling around that time. That was actually 2 years ago. Can you believe it? I was only like playing fighting games for like a year and a half around there. So I was still like not very good. So I was just like doing what I could to get better. Because I was like, every time I would play a character, I realized like my limits with that character and be like, man, I just don't know how to get any better than this. So I'm gonna try something else to see if this works, and then I ended up snowballing into learning even more characters and more stuff. Watched a lot of videos, that kind of thing. Something like that. Yeah, I'm not that interesting. I am 5'6". I'm 24. Yeah, people want to know my age sometimes. I'm 24. I turned 24 a little while ago, and I started balding, kinda. Yeah, kind of sucks. Actually, I'm not sure if I'm really balding. The thing is like, I forgot for a while that like I haven't conditioned my hair in like about like a year, like 4 years or so. Not 4 years, 4 months. But I've been using this like really good shampoo that like moisturizes my hair like crazy. So I think that I've already conditioned, but I always forget because it's like early in the morning. So I'm just like, all right, time to go to work, and I put on my clothes and go to work. So I always forget. And then, so then I haven't conditioned my hair in a while. So maybe my hair will get better. I don't want to be bald, damn it. I'm too handsome to be bald. But it's okay if I go bald. I mean, I'm not very self-conscious. I have a lot of self-esteem, so it's all good in my hood. Might even come on to show with shaved head at some point, but it wouldn't obscure the headphones as well. So yeah, I'm really jealous of all these tall people in the stream right now. Like, because for one, I'm a huge nerd, so I love like putting on costumes because I'm so gay like that. And like all the BB characters like ultra tall. Like the shortest male character is Carl. Wait, that was already automatic. The shortest male character is like Jin. He's like 5'8". 5'8"? Damn. And I hate Jin. I don't want to be Jin. All the cool characters are like 6'1". Yeah. That blows. That's okay though. So let's talk about the next subject. Man, that was a pretty long tangent. What was the next subject? I don't even remember. Okay, so the next subject was, I guess we're just going to go straight into like the main subject of today, which is the 3 fundamental laws of fighting games. The 3 fundamental laws of fighting games! All right. With the 3 fundamental laws of fighting games, are just something I just made up before the stream started, actually. But these 3 laws will actually let you learn fighting games. And if you don't know them before you start learning, you will not be able to become good. Which is the funny thing because some people don't know that. And it's, I frown at you. But it's okay. We can start over. We can start over, guys. It's fine. Actually, it's not so bad because honestly, like most people actually know this because I was just joking. It's actually super implied that when you play fighting games, you know these laws. But then we're just gonna explain them so that the non-fighting game members of the cast, which hopefully is like 50 billion by tomorrow, share this information. Like, yeah, that makes too much sense. I'm gonna become good at fighting games now. And even if you choose not to play BlazBlue, it's fine. It's okay with me. As long as you become a fighting game player, it's fine with me. Because by proxy, BlazBlue will get bigger if a lot of you start playing. That's fine. Okay. Oh, there's something important I forgot to talk about. But we'll talk about it after the 3 fundamental laws of fighting games. Okay, all right, let's go with that. Fundamental law number 1. Fundamental law number 1. This is the super important law that you cannot get anywhere without knowing. And that is that when you push buttons and move the stick around, stuff happens. Holy shit, that's really important. If you didn't know how that worked, it's impossible to learn how to play fighting games. Yeah, like you can't learn how to do anything. You just hit buttons and be like, I don't get why anything is happening. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, and you just be like, wow, fighting games are too hard. I give up. kind of thing. So that's law number one. When you hit buttons and move the stick around, stuff happens. And stuff happens at specific times when you do that. Damn, that's really important. Damn, that's so important. It's so good. So good. It's fundamental law number one. That's really important. Yeah. Basically, like, we can summarize this law, but like inputs at specific times create specific output on the screen. That's like so important. Yeah, like I said, if you didn't know that, you would not be able to play fighting games. You would not be able to really play any game. But I'm surprised that like people who say, "Oh yeah, I play fighting games," like get on the stick, be like, and then like you're just like, "Why would you play fighting games? I thought you played this game." And you're just like, "Oh wait, fighting games, they're hard. I forgot how hard they were." But yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to fix right now. It's exactly what we're trying to fix. So that when you go to the anime con, you can tell them this law, fundamental fighting game law number one. It's that input creates output. That's so important. So. Yeah, that's law number one. So take that to heart. Input creates output. Yeah, I summarize it in 3 words because I'm so cool and I want you to spread my gospel across the land. Everyone will be good at fighting games someday, and it'll be the country of fighting games, like out of some kind of story. That'll be a pretty interesting story, I think. All right, fundamental law number 2. 2 is also really important. Fundamental law number 2 is super important. Super important. So fundamental law number 2 is that your opponent can also push buttons and like move the stick around, and stuff will happen when they do that. Wow, that's so important. Like, if you don't understand this either, you can't play this game either. It's because, like, you won't be able to understand why things happen. So, it's, like, amazing. Like, when they do stuff happens. Wow, that's amazing. Oh, my God. You just learned something so incredible. You're just, like, amazing. And it's, like, that way when you go to the anime con and your opponent's just, like, blah, 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 and just, like, and they lose to you and just, like, I don't get why I lost you. Why are you so good at this game? And you'll be like, well, it's because when I push buttons, stuff happens. And that's why it's beating your stuff, because I'm pushing the correct buttons and like it's beating what you're doing. Which actually brings me to fundamental law number 3. This is like the application of laws 1 and 2. Oh wait, let me summarize number 2 in 3 words, which is opponent do stuff. Yeah, I tried really hard with that. Opponent do stuff. I'm sorry. I couldn't think of a really clever way to say that. It wasn't an alliteration either, but yeah, opponent do stuff. Fundamental law number 2. All right, fundamental law number 3, yeah, which is the application of fundamental laws number 1 and 2, which is actually probably the most important law that you guys may not actually have thought about, which is fighting games are a relationship of space, time, and your inputs, basically. And by collection to that, like, your inputs in space and time, basically, like between your opponent and yourself, like, your inputs in space and time basically create everything that happens with fighting games. Everything that happens is fundamentally created by you and your opponent. I know there's a middleman, which is the game itself and the laws of the game. But basically, nothing would happen if you and your opponent don't do anything. And that's fundamental law number 3. And that's why it's so important. It's that you realize that everything you and your opponent doing happens for a reason, and that's because one of you did it. And of course, people do stuff on accident. They try to do things, and the wrong thing comes out. We're just going to pretend that never happens. Or, well, it happens as a ratio of cause and effect, and it still, falls correctly into laws 1 through 3. But basically, like, you just have to realize that everything you do occurs because someone did it. It's pretty important fundamental law, if I say so myself, actually. If you don't know this, yeah, fighting games will be a very, very, very hard, painful road for you. But frankly, like, that's one of the like, those 3 things are actually, like, totally implied. When you play games and you try to get good at them, you already know these things. But it's like, but if you're not like a competitive player, like, that's something you may miss. Like, when you watch people play StarCraft or something, like other pro games, it's obvious they know that when they click on stuff and like push buttons, like, stuff will happen in the game. And fighting games are definitely, by proxy, the most direct relationship in a competitive game that you could probably have, next to maybe like arm wrestling or like thumb war. That's probably the only more direct thing you can have, or wrestling, that kind of thing. But fighting games are pretty much the next step. But yeah, when you learn this, man, you're ready to go. You're so ready to go. So you know the 3 fundamental laws of fighting games now. So yeah, take that lesson to heart. So we're actually going to step back now a little bit, because I actually forgot to explain something to you guys, which is actually, like, why BlazBlue? I know that, like, my show is actually so fundamental that it could actually be, like, applied to any show, as you have just noticed, which is like, wow, this is really, really basic. And if I didn't know how to play fighting games, this would be awesome. but I kind of do, so I'm just like blah 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 kind of thing. But either way, like, why BlazBlue? Why BlazBlue as the choice of game? And like reason number one's a really simple one, which is like I like BlazBlue. I like playing the game. I like the community, and I just like it. That's fine. You may not agree with this reason, obviously, because that's from me. But that is one of the reasons, and that doesn't really translate properly into one reason why you should watch the show, unless you want to become my fanboy. But if that's the case, cool, awesome. You're watching the show. That's all I need. But basically, BlazBlue, I like it. Reason number one. That's why we choose BlazBlue for this show. Reason number two is actually a pretty interesting reason, which you may not agree with, but I find is actually pretty reasonable. Which is BlazBlue is actually probably the game that's easiest to get to a competitively competent level at, which I would say is like low mid level. When you're like playing the game and you like lose, but you're not like I don't understand what happened. You're just more like I lost and I could probably get better. I actually feel like BlazBlue is probably the best game to reach this like low mid, like mid high-ish kind of level at. And a lot of people would say that like other games like AE and Marvel vs. Capcom 3 are better at, but frankly, I played both of those games for a bit, like Marvel specifically because it came out like at the same time as console, and I was all into it, and I was just like, I got to a pretty respectable level, but then no matter how much I played, I never felt like I really like understood the game to where I could even call myself mid-level. I just like mashed buttons, did mix-ups, did combos, did supers, and I was just like, hey, I'm winning, that's cool. And then when I watch like the high-level players play, they have so much of a higher understanding. Yes, SD card holder. They have so much of a better understanding of what exactly they're doing and why they do it, and like that whole like spatial relationship of fundamental law number 3 is very clear to them. But then to reach that level in a game like Marvel or AE, that's so much harder because everything you do in those games has some kind of really big impact, and it has a hidden impact to you that you may not understand at a low level, basically. For example, Marvel. Marvel, like, when you press your assist, where you are when you press the assist, what your character is doing when you press the assist, and what your opponent may or may not press when you press the assist, it all matters. And it's the difference between, like, having both of your characters killed by an 8-year-old boy and, like, winning the match. Which is actually, like, you feel like, well, like, it's no hate for him, by the way. It's a game. So that's the whole difference between like understanding like why things happen and why things don't happen is like really hard to understand in Marvel. Like it's super hard. Like you could try to break it down as much as you want, but in the bottom line is that level is actually relatively difficult to understand. And like to get to that point, I would say is actually one of the most difficult ways to win at that game. And which is funny because when you think about it, why is it so hard? Basically, it's like those games are actually just secretly hard. Like they're actually like I actually find them both to be very respectable games because they're actually like somewhat interesting and fun to watch at high level. But at mid-low level, it's like kind of a slop fest. Yeah, quite frankly. And that's mostly in part to why BlazBlue is like my choice of game for like teaching people, because reaching this mid-level is actually somewhat easier because you do the same kind of spacing game. Oh yeah, I guess I should like say why AE is so hard, because AE has like a lot of hidden like OSs and stuff, and a lot of the times it's hard to learn these things, and like you may not be able to apply them in practical gameplay for a while, and you'll just be like, man, everyone's so good at reading me. Why are they so beast? And that's the other reason why like AE is a hard game. Also, like walking backwards has a huge impact in AE, and like it's really apparent in AE where like you walk backwards and like the game state is changing, and like as a low level player you won't understand this until like your back is to the wall, and Yun is killing you, and you're just like, I don't get it, Yun is broken. But then like all of that is contributed to like what you had been doing the entire time, which is like you walked backwards because you're afraid of Yun, and then like you ended up in the corner and lost. And like it's hard to understand that when you're like a mid-low level player. It's like, oh, I need to walk forward on these frames. That way his like standing medium won't tag me, and I'll be able to like press these buttons, sometimes maybe tag him out of his like pre-startup frames. And that's like, it's kind of hard to get there like when you're like starting out fighting games. So I feel that when you play BB, and you gain like a kind of mid-level mastery of the game where you're just like, well, I'm like trying to space my opponent out, and I can do anti-airs, and I can do combos, and I can like do a mix-up that is not OS, like heavily OS related. So I feel that like because BB is that kind of game, like it's actually probably the easiest one to learn at mid-level, and it's pretty important. So yeah, that's pretty much the two major reasons I do this show. There might have been a third one, but I like forgot about this segment before I even started. So yeah, it's probably lost forever. Yeah, you also notice that in show format, I completely wing this every time. I like take little notes in Notepad and I just like kind of glance at them, but then oftentimes I like forget what I was even like. Sometimes like I even like lose my notes, so I have to like put them back together again and then like and be like, oh yeah, I forgot some stuff. Like that thing about the whole like YBB is like what's supposed to be on my notes, but I totally forgot. And yeah, but yeah, that's because I wing the show entirely. It's like completely unscripted, but I think it's more fun that way, right? I think so. That way it takes the pressure off of me too to be like, oh no, I don't know what I'm gonna do today. It's like I'm not sure, but yeah, it's no problem like this. So let's see how much time we have left. Oh yeah, people are asking me questions. I'm sorry. Like the whole like everything I've explained so far. Don't worry about it. I'm serious. You are probably like what are auction stacks? I don't get it. I don't get it yet. Don't worry about it. Actually, like all the information doesn't matter because it wasn't actually part of the like I'm teaching you stuff part. Believe it or not, it's not important. Why we choose to play like at first you're just like yeah, I don't know what that is, and I'm just like don't worry about it. It's just a complicated term, and you're like the person I was talking to, like okay, I won't think about it for now. Yeah. That was my attempt. Yeah. So don't worry about it. That's part of the tangents that we just talk about because we're trying to have fun. But yeah, whenever I'm doing like a really important segment, like oh this is exactly what we're gonna do, kind of thing. That's why we're always like start from zero. That's always what we're gonna do. Yeah. Don't worry about it. So we're gonna move on now. What are we gonna move on to? Yeah. I guess we're gonna watch like a match video and see if it actually works. I actually did not test this part because, like I said, I was remodeling the room. So if it doesn't work, I apologize. This is like new grounds here, but we're gonna have to go for it. Let's see. All right, so I'm gonna put on a loading screen. Actually, maybe it's MISC 1. Fuck. Okay, it is MISC 1. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and watch this match. It's an excerpt from yesterday's. Something. What was yesterday? Yesterday was the Danisen. Yeah, I remember now. So it's an excerpt from one of the matches from the Danisen. It is probably the most interesting match of last night because it illustrates some pretty interesting things. This is partly a sample run. We're actually like if in most cases where we show a video at the end and talk about match stuff, we'll actually like. I'll actually try to like point out, like pause the video and point out things to you and be like, yes, this is the practical application of what we just talked about. And that'll be like really interesting to see. And you'll be like, yeah, that's really cool. I learned something. I understand it. Like, I understand it now. But then today's lesson was like, you push buttons and things happen. Your opponent pushes buttons and things happen. And that's how the games are played. So, this is actually more for fun. Because, if I keep explaining that, you'll probably get mad. So, yeah. I'm sorry. This is why it's like this for today. So starting tomorrow, of course, not tomorrow, the next show, we'll definitely talk about. My foot's asleep. Okay, better. All right, so let's see. Yeah, so then starting next session, we'll definitely use a more practical application of what exactly we're talking about with the video stuff. So let's go ahead and watch this. Let's hope that the frame rate is not too shitty. Let's go. So let's watch this match. There's no sound temporarily because there is no, what do you call it? So, yeah. So I've turned off the volume, so we're going to let the intro play because apparently this is the last match of yesterday. Those of you who watched the Dainisen yesterday know exactly how this ended. But, yeah, the very first input you can make is you can skip the intro. Yeah, that's really important. Yeah, Bobby is actually DS Move 12, by the way. That's our nickname for him. He's a great guy. Yeah. So right there, somebody got hit. It's because they didn't block, and like I guess that's hard to understand because I haven't actually explained blocking yet. But yeah, I guess we should just like keep it basic. Yeah, both these players are hitting buttons, and stuff is happening. Yep, that's exactly what's happening. Let's see. Donovan is hitting buttons. Bobby is hitting buttons. Donovan's still hitting buttons. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. This is basically like I said, because this is the super basic one, it's pretty hard to really understand exactly like how are we practically applying what we're learning today. Well, we learned that when you push buttons, stuff happens. So let's pretend we're Bobby right now, and we're trying to like think. Yes, I pushed buttons and my opponent got hit, and stuff is happening. Is it? I think the frame rate may be a little bit fast, but that is about what it should be. Yes, players are performing a series of inputs, and they are temporally related, and that's what is happening. Yeah, I'm Bobby. I'm doing combos. Look at me. Yeah. Eat it. Bloom trigger. So yeah, this is like I said, the last matchup tonight. Not love last night, but yeah, this is pretty much a sample of what we're going to talk about. And sometimes I'll be like, pause. Look at that. Look at that. That was amazing. Did you see that? That was awesome. Like he just did something that was amazing. But I think what actually happened was he like made his stick come back. So but actually, like, what we'll probably talk about is we'll pause the video and be like, yeah, look at that. That's what I was just explaining. But yeah, this time it's just like, yeah, look at that. He pushed buttons and his opponent pushed buttons. So, yeah, back to the match. So sometimes at some point I'll probably figure out how to draw on the screen. But up until then, you'll probably just see my cursor and be like, yeah, fingers. Yep. So yeah, that was actually, if I recall correctly, that was actually a counter assault bait. But that's too complicated for you guys. They're just hitting buttons. Yeah. But yeah, as we go on to, we'll also be showing, we'll actually be showing Japanese match videos as well. I do have the hookups with some pretty famous Japanese players, I guess, and we'll hopefully they'll share their insight with us at times. Maybe invite them on the show. I'll speak to them in my terrible Japanese, and yeah. I'll speak to them in my terrible Japanese, and you'll sit there being like, "What is he saying?" Like even the Japanese speakers will be like, "I don't understand." And but yeah, we'll basically translate it live or whatever, this kind of stuff. But yeah, stuff is happening. Buttons are being pressed. All right, this is enough of this. You understand, right? Like, there's a really epic climax to this this set actually. Really super epic climax to this set. So when I put it up on YouTube, please watch it. You can look forward to that when it goes up. I'll give you a hint. It ends in me yelling a lot because it's really cool. Yeah. So that's pretty much the tidbit for today. I'll put that up on Danisen will probably be up on YouTube by Tuesday or so. This will probably be up. I don't know because I went over the 15 minutes 3 times in a row. So I don't know how much editing I'm gonna have to do, but it'll be up when it's up. And that's pretty much it. So let's go with something else. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for tonight, actually. We're ending it a little bit early. I didn't actually have much to talk about because obviously this is the pilot. I told you about myself, the show, what the 3 fundamental laws of fighting games are, which probably the moral of today's story. So we're going to just go do the Q&A today. We're going to do a little bit of Q&A. I'll answer your questions and try to find practical examples to show you. So this part was not for the beginners, obviously. But yeah, I'll answer a couple of your questions and see where we go with that. Oh, wait, there's one last thing, the closing. Yeah, closing is super important because this closing is actually going to come before the Q&A because the Q&A is going to be part of that, oh, I'm already a pro. I'm going to ask these really pro questions. So the Q&A part is going to be yeah, after this. But the conclusion is, yeah, so this is beginner mode. As you've noticed, we've taken a very standard, slow approach to what exactly we're learning. We're going to build up all of our knowledge from level negative 10 billion, and bring it up to 0, and then to 1. Yeah, and then we're going to be fighting game players. And that's definitely the approach we're going to go with. We're going to explain the terminology one by one. We're going to learn everything. And what the, actually, well, I did say what the 3 goals of, yes, we're using the number 3 a lot because 3 is a good number. I did mention what the goals of beginner mode were, and they were mostly BB related, but what the final goal of you learning how to play BlazBlue is, and this show actually, is to come up with a structure for your own thinking platform. And it's basically how you're going to react to things I tell you in the future, and how other people tell you things in the future. And basically the idea is that if you watch all of beginner mode, and you are able to come to some sort of understanding, you are going to be able to basically learn other fighting games easily and learn how to basically think about new things that you come across, and without someone holding your hand and being yeah, or you're not going to be able, you're going to have informed opinions, which is also really important, and it'll make people hate you less if you tend to get hated for some reason. But basically, when you like I said, you're going to come up with some kind of structure, for your ability to think. And like being able to think is so important. Like being able to think for yourself, wow, you're going to go really far in life. If I say so myself. So basically, like when you come up with that kind of structure, you may not be able to agree with me as much anymore, which is absolutely okay. If you are able to come up with a solid thinking structure that makes complete sense, you're going to be able to create your own strategy. You're going to make your own style, and you're going to be able to like take in the things I say and think about them. And you're going to be like, I do think that tactic has some viability. Maybe I'll try applying it. I may not like it, that kind of stuff. But that's going to be so important. You're going to like learn a lot. You're going to learn even more once you've like finished your ability to think and like establish your own like intelligent paradigms. So oftentimes, the way I speak in beginner mode is I speak directly. I say, this is this, oftentimes, because we're still at the, like, I'm crawling up the stairs kind of thing, trying to learn how to play fighting games. But as we get farther into beginner mode, we're going to start, like, talking strategy, and I'm going to start saying, like, I believe, which is the key word, that this is a strong strategy, and, like, that's going to make everything okay for everything I say. And then when you reach that, like, high-level thinking platform, you're just like, cool, I don't think that, and this is why. And it'll be okay because you're so smart and you understand why you thought that. And it's okay for the most part. Also, you notice I have like a bluish tinge right now. It's because this monitor is fucking bright. I mean, dead spike bright. Yeah. That's something I have to fix. I'm like really close to my stuff, so I'm going to have to figure that out someday. But yeah, that's basically what we're going to be going through. What we go through as we learn and as we get better at this kind of stuff. Yes, hair dude, let's activate. All right, so activate Q&A. If you have a question for me and my infinite BlazBlue intelligence, please ask me in the stream chat. Not yet. Not yet. Now. Okay, now you may ask me and I'll answer some of them. And because there's delay, I'll have to wait a little while. So I'm just going to talk for no reason. How do you learn, like Schaefer asks, how do you block? That's for another lesson, unless you actually are specifically asking me, how do I block? Yeah. Next question. What do you think is more important, understanding game mechanics or learning combos? That is a complicated philosophical question, because what are combos? I'm just kidding, because we're outside. Like, actually, I find that, like, when Satoshi was here, I was asking him how he learned how to play fighting games, and he was just, like, how he approached it kind of thing. He told me that, like, in Japanese, he said, forget about the combos. Just do whatever. First, let's learn how to do spacing kind of thing, right? So, based on that, which is not even game mechanics yet, but based on, like, stepping backwards from that is if you like, game mechanics are absolutely the most important thing. Because without them, you can't even learn spacing yet. So, from there, like, the combos are only the endpoint of everything you've learned up until now, basically. That's like, how you hit your opponent is basically a combination of spacing, game mechanics, understanding the matchup, and like a bunch of other factors. And that's what lets you even hit your opponent to begin with. And that's why combos are probably the least important. And it's like an extrapolation of Satoshi's lesson. But combos are definitely the least important part of gameplay. However, once you reach mid to high level gameplay, combos are a lot more important because they optimize the first four things you did. So you get more out of doing the first four things, and that's why combos become important as the fifth thing. And I would say that, like, combos are really important, but like the first four, they're important first when you're learning a game. And that's why, like, you learn the first four, do the fifth thing. And then when you get better, you do the fifth thing, it makes your first four things more important. Like, it makes your first four things, like, a lot better when you actually accomplish it. So yeah, that's really important. Both are important. I do know that a lot of players, they have no choice but to learn the combos first, and that's highly understandable because you actually, like, it's actually kind of hard to find people to play in real life. So most players tend to start out with combos so they have something to do. And, like, it's not to say that combos are not important. When I say that combos are not important, you, like, when you hit your opponent, you better do something still. Like, you better at least, like, do a really bad combo that works, kind of thing. Because you want to end in an advantage, basically. You want to take the advantage, but like I said, the first four things are definitely the most important. You want to, you doing, like, everything else lets you hit your opponent. Okay, so that's why that mechanic is really important. All right, so because the stream chat has moved a bunch, I'm going to have to answer the next question. Yeah. Drill Kazetaka asks, what fighting game would you recommend to begin learning fundamentals, or would any game really work? Okay, this is another complicated question. For this question, I would recommend you play any fighting game that not too many people say is crap. That's probably the easiest way to know that that game is good for fundamentals. Because if a lot of people say a game is crap, there's something fundamentally wrong with it. That's a really funny way to put things, but I actually mean that because when you a lot of games that people consider not good fundamental games tend to be games with infinite combos that kill you one hit from like really stupid things, and that's usually when we know that like a game is bad for learning fundamentals, or it has some other kind of BS mechanic. But regarding that, if you need to like get your fingers wet with if you need to like get your fingers wet with doing combos and such because you want to play like combo type game, I would say Marvel's probably the best. Like you can actually learn how to hit like more than one button in a row, and that's pretty important if you want to play fighting games sometimes. Like in AE, like if you play Guile or something, you can kind of get by with no combos. You can be like, I throw sonic booms, and my opponent jumps at me, I pick a random anti-air, and I win. And I have no combos because like every time my opponent gets close, I like punch him or kick him, and I can't like throw a sonic boom after because I was charging. So like combos are probably the least important for that type of person. But if you want to learn combos, like play Marvel. If you want to learn like footsies and spacing, I'd probably say like Super Turbo or Street Fighter 4 AE or even like BB. They're mostly spacing intensive games. But there are some outliers. Like BB is kind of hard to learn spacing. Like let's say your local scene has like 8 Arakuni players, and you just want like you love little girls, so you pick Platinum, even though Platinum is a boy. You're just like, yeah, I love Platinum. I want to learn how to play like BlazBlue, but like there's nothing but Arakunis. Like you probably wouldn't learn how to play fundamentals very well at that point, which kind of sucks. But there's no other choice. Super Turbo, I recommend. It's the most fundamental of fundamental games. But it is a gay game. Like that game will make you so mad if you're like not like. It's funny because like we say it's the most fundamental game, but it's easily the game that can make you the most angry because a lot like the game is full of BS. Like if that kind of stuff flew in today's fighting games, people would be like, "That's." But yeah, it's still a good game because when you in Super Turbo, like everything you do matters. You walk backwards for 1 frame, it matters. So that's why it's a good game. Street Fighter 4 AE, kind of self-explanatory. Yeah, but like the whole fundamentals thing, like I understand that like fundamentals is kind of a nebulous subject. So that's actually a lesson for like probably like episode 1 or 2. Like, what are fundamentals? Those will be complicated lessons, and I definitely encourage you to watch those ones for sure. But yeah, that's something I could talk about for hours. So that's my short answer. ST, Street Fighter 4, BB, MVC3, they're all fine. Any one of those games is fine. I'm told MK9 is okay too, but I haven't actually played it much, so I couldn't tell you. So yeah, sorry about that. All right, next question. Anybody else have a question? Platinum is a boy. My philosophy on characters with no panties is they're probably boys. If you see that character's ass and it's not an overly sexualized character already, it's probably a guy. Yeah, watch out for that. Watch out for that. Spats are also pretty deadly too. Watch out for that too. Noel's different. Noel has magic skirt. That's different. It's like you never see like completely up. You don't see Noel's ass ever, right? But you completely see like Platinum's like ass cracked. So you're just like, okay, it's a guy. That's why. Am I going to Northwest Majors? I want to. Probably like at this point I'm like 95% confirmed. Pretty soon I want to announce that I'm going. Maybe do a live show there. That'd be super cool, right? I don't know. But yeah, I really do want to go compete. Let's see. Any other important questions, like burning ones, like really, really good ones? Let's see. The show seems very ambitious. Do you plan on preparing more for one episode to have a better learning effect? Yes. Frankly, episode 0, and this is probably the last question because we're almost at 7 o'clock, but frankly, episode 0 is actually like a true pilot. Like it's all kind of just like trying to understand the show format because I hadn't like done it before. So like the first the first episode is like really basic. It's basically just me trying to like get a feel for like what's effective, what's not, and then like teach really basic lessons on top of that. But episode 1 will be like pretty hardcore, like 60 minutes of nonstop learning and me like saying stupid stuff. But that's the idea. Episode 1 will probably cover, man, I haven't even explained what the game looks like yet. But yeah, it's going to be like a combination of like, what is BlazBlue? What is this bar? What is that bar? Oh man, it's going to be quite the lesson. It's going to be probably the most tedious one. Oh man, you thought this one was tedious. Next one. It's going to be off the chain. Off the chain. So yeah, that's going to be, but then like, as we get even farther, obviously, we're going to run out of basic stuff to teach. Like episode 1, what is BlazBlue? Episode 2, what are fundamentals? Episode 3, what is spacing? Episode 4, what is pressure? It's like, it's going to be that kind of formula. And the more we get through all of these basic concepts, like the faster we can start talking about more interesting things. Like, okay, how do I am blank. How do I get out of Gadget Finger? Like that, like I could do an entire show just on Gadget Finger. And like people would probably want to watch that because it's like 60 minutes of like, I am Ragna, I am getting Gadget Fingered, I want to get out of this. So yeah, you could probably learn a lot just from like just one random thing. So that's pretty much like the format of the show for real. Like episode 1 probably going to be like, what is BlazBlue? How do I play it? Man, that's going to be the most tedious lesson. Like this one was kind of fun, honestly. Like that one's going to be terrible. So I recommend you tune into it because you want to see how terrible it is, right? So that concludes today's beginner mode. That's pretty much all I had to say today. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned something. Maybe you didn't because you already knew exactly what I said. But either way, this is the show. Hopefully you're looking forward to it. And that's it for tonight. Definitely tune in for next time. I'm probably going to... yeah, don't like hit the panic button when I like stream randomly because I'm going to be playing Dark Souls on stream. So, so I'm sorry, but not every day will be beginner mode. Next episode will probably be ambitiously, I want to say Tuesday at 7 p.m. PST. Tune in for beginner mode episode 1 where we talk about what the hell BlazBlue is, which is pretty early, so I probably need to get this whole beginner mode episode 0 up by tomorrow or tonight. All right, but yeah, Tuesday, tune in. I already said it, so it's set in stone now, unless it gets canceled or I get sick or something. But yeah, tune in Tuesday at 7 p.m. PST. We'll talk about what is BlazBlue, what the hell it is, how do I play it, what are these bars, what do they mean. All right, one more question. All right, what is it? Actually, no, I'm not even going to answer that. Fuck you. All right. Dead Spike you. All right, have a good night, everyone. Goodbye. Beginner mode, signing out.